When modeling 3ds Max, sometimes you want things to move, rotate, or be resized in precise steps instead of sliding around smoothly. And that is where Snap Toggle comes in very handy. So you can call them tools if you prefer, but they are actually modeling aids because they help you move objects into position, rotate objects into the right angle, or resize objects into the right size precisely. And now what does precise mean in this various aspects? I mean the move aspect, the rotation aspect, and the resizing aspect, that is the scaling aspect. When it comes to the moving aspect, precision means snapping the object you intend to move to the various parts of another object that is already at the position where you want to move the object. Now, this other object I'm talking about here might be a geometry. It might also be a spline or whatever. Okay, so the different parts of this object that you can snap the objects you want to move to, okay, can always be set by you. And I'm going to show you how you're going to be setting all these things. Now, when it comes to the rotation aspect, what does it mean, for it to rotate precisely? In the rotation aspect, precision means rotating the object incrementally in angles that are already set by you. This means you can actually set the angle snap toggle to snap at 5 degrees or 10 degrees. So now when you want to get 50 degrees rotation, you know that you have to snap a certain amount of time and you are sure you have rotated that object to 50 degrees. Otherwise, you will just be sliding around without really knowing where you are. And it might be difficult, more difficult for you to get 50 degrees without the angle snap toggle than it might be for you to get it with the angle snap toggle. Now, what does precision look like when it comes to the resizing or scaling? Now, precision means scaling the object incrementally in percentages. Okay? In percentages with respect to the original object you are scaling. Let's say the object is 100%. If you set the percentage that you want to scale by 10%, it means you want to make that object bigger by 10%. Meaning if this object is 100 and I want to increase it by 10, by the time I increase it by 10, the object becomes 110 because 10 is 10% of 100. Okay, I know all this may not be clear. I will be showing you very shortly with an illustration. Okay, this is just, we are still in introduction stuff right here. Okay, the teaching is about to start. But before we do that, I want to take a moment and pause and thank my subscribers. And thank you that is always watching my videos, my content. Simple or difficult, just surpassed 15,000 subscribers and counting. I can't thank you all enough for your love and support. Keep it coming, and I promise you, I will keep on coming. Continue to like and subscribe to the channel. Just click the notification bell so you get notified each time I drop a new content in this channel. All right, now let's jump into the video. Let me show you what I'm really talking about when I'm talking about snap toggle in all these various aspects. There's one aspect I've not talked about though, and we're going to look at it in-depthly in this video. So now let's talk about the first aspect of this snap toggle, which is the 3D, the 2.5D, and the 2D snap toggle. Shall we? Inside 3ds Max, okay, I have to be able to illustrate this to you very well. I've modeled these three things. Okay, this is a box. One is, the top of the box hanging up. The other one is on the ground. I want to use it to illustrate this particular snap toggle. Okay, this snap toggle enables you. Let me go ahead and draw another box. This is what I'm going to be using for this illustration to show you what happens when I turn it on. I'm going to make this thing big by pressing Alt and W. That will make it big, so that we'll just focus on what we need to focus on. Right? I'll just pick the move tool. Let's go ahead. So I want to use this snap toggle. I'll come over here and click it. You can see beside this snap toggle, you're going to see S in bracket. The S in bracket means that's the shortcut for the snap toggle. So whenever I hit S, it comes on. Now by default, it is set to snap to grids. Okay? That is that even when I turn off the grid by hitting G on the keyboard, it is still going to be snapping to those grids. Now, sometimes this might come in handy, but usually I don't use it. So if you want to change the settings of what it snaps to, Okay, if you want it to snap to other objects, you can change this setting. And how you do that is by coming over here and right-clicking. Okay, now we're going to set up the part of the other object. Remember when I was introducing this and I said that we can use other object that is already at the position where we want to position what we want to position. Like I said, this other object can be geometries, they can be spline, they can be mesh, whatever. All I'm trying to tell you is that you can snap something to something using this tool. Now, you can say, okay, I don't want it to snap to grid points, but I want it to snap to vertex. I also want it to snap to endpoint. I want it to snap to midpoint. I want it to snap to segment. What that means is now, as you can see, it is not snapping to this, but when I come close to this box, you see that it is snapping to different aspect of this box. And the part of this box that it is snapping to, let me press F1 so I can turn on this thing. You can see it is snapping to vertices. Okay, let me put it in 3D mode so you'll be able to understand what I'm talking about. You can see each time I come across a vertex, this area that you're seeing this round thing coming out, these are vertexes. Okay, it's snap to them, and it's also snap to edges because they are part of what I turned on. But if I right click and go there and say, okay, snap only to vertex, you can see that it will now only snap to vertex. Okay, and no longer all this other stuff that we are seeing over there. The same thing applies when I come here, it will be snapping to vertex. To show you this vertex, I will just select this thing and hit 1 on the keyboard. You're going to see the vertex that this object is snapping to. So yeah, it is snapping to vertices. Right. So when I come over here and click and hold, you're going to see that we have other types of snap toggles in there. We have the 2D snap toggle, we have the 2.5D snap toggle, we have the 3D snap toggle. 3D snap toggle is the one that we have been working with. How these things work is similar, okay? It is similar, but it is different. Now, let's start with the 3D snap toggle. If we're using the 3D snap toggle, it snaps to anything and anywhere. Once it snaps here, and I go there, you find that it has position itself to where this is. If I should, let me just put it like this. If I should come over here and snap here and I go there, you see I'm already down below where it is. Okay, so with this 3D snap toggle, it snaps things into position no matter where it is. Okay, it snaps them into position in any part of that object. If I want to snap it up, if I want to snap it down, it will just do as I say. Okay, even though I am holding this axis, the red axis, and I snap here, it is going to be down. If I hold that same red axis, that's the x-axis, and I snap here, it is up. Now, when I switch over to the 2.5D, okay, this actually snaps to anything in this scene, but the difference is that it maintains the position where it is in. You can see that it is still up. All right, it is still up. If I use this same, mind you, when we are doing the 3D axis, when we are doing the 3D snap toggle, it moves. Once it snaps to anything, it goes to where that thing is and position itself. But this 2D snap toggle will still maintain the location where it is in the scene. Like now it is hanging. So if I say, okay, let me bring it down. Okay, let me bring it down here and then move things around. And I say, okay, let me snap it to this other box here. And I snap it. It is snapping to that box. Quite all right. But then it is not getting itself up to the level where the plane, not box now, where the plane is. Okay, that is the difference between the 3D snap toggle and the 2.5D snap toggle. It snaps to things that are all over the place, but still maintain its position in the space. It doesn't take the position of what it is snapping to, unlike the 3D snap toggle. Now, let's take a look at the 2D snap toggle. Okay, this one only snaps to things that are in its level. Like this now is not snapping to anything, as you can see. But when I come in here, hold on, it is not even snap because it's not on this level. Exactly my point. So let me just put it at 0 degrees. Okay, so we'll see the difference. Now, if I move this thing out and bring it here, you can notice that it's not snapping to anything. As you can see, it is not snapping to anything. But the moment I take it here, you notice that it is snapping to something, which means we are at the level where it can snap to something. If I'm here, it is also snapping to something. So the difference now between this and the other two is that it only snaps to things that are in the same level as it is. As you can see now, this box is touching this plane, so it snaps to it. This box is also touching this big box here, so it snaps to it. But now this box is not touching this one that is hanging here, so it doesn't snap. So the 2D snap toggle snaps to things that it can touch. If it can't touch it, it will not snap to it. Okay, so that is how it works. So when you are working in 3ds Max, you now know which one you should select to be able to do what you want to do. Okay, I hardly use the 2D snap toggle. It's always between 2.5D and 3D, depending on what I'm doing in 3ds Max. Now, the next snap toggle I would like us to talk about, let me just change this to 2.5D, is the angle snap toggle. Okay, like I said, it enables you rotate your object, your geometry, your spline, whatever it is you want to rotate inside 3ds Max. It helps you rotate it, and it helps you rotate it incrementally in angles that are already set by you in the snap toggle settings. Now, speaking of snap toggle settings, there is one setting that is very important that we need to talk about. Okay, now when you right click on this snap toggle, it is going to bring out this grid and snap settings. Now, when you click on these options, you're going to see something here, translation, enable axis constraints. Now, with this, even when you're working in 3D snap, okay, even when you're working in 3D snap toggle, you are going to maintain the axis that you are in. I will show you. Remember what I showed you before? When in 3D snap toggle, it takes the position of, like, it relocates itself, the object you're moving relocates itself from where it is to what it is snapping to. That is for 3D snap toggle. But with this axis constraint now, mind you, this thing is on the ground, okay? Let me move it to this place. It will still be on the ground because, as you can see, now when I say, okay, I want to move this thing to this other position, it will snap here and it will still be on the ground because of what? The axis constraint. Now, if I should go back in there and turn off this axis constraint, see what happens. The moment I snap to something else, let me just select it and then be like this. The moment I snap to something else in this place, it has risen to that position. So axis constraint enables you to constrain, even though you're working, with 3D snap toggle, it enables you to constrain that 3D snap toggle to an axis. Okay, if you don't want it, then you can turn it off and move things where you want them to be. All right, so having talked about this, let's go over to this. This is what we're going to be using for our rotation, the angle snap toggle, to show you rotation. Okay, so when I turn it on, if I hover around this thing, you're going to see angle snap toggle and you're going to see A in bracket, meaning A is a shortcut for angle snap toggle. So I'm going to just hit A on my keyboard and that activates it. Now, when I do that, I'll just go over here and pick the rotation tool. Now, when I rotate, you see it is kind of snapping. Let me turn it off so you see the difference. It will be sliding smoothly. It is not snapping. So if I want to set this into 10 degrees now, you see how difficult, I don't know where you can now. You are seeing something like 9.20. This is going to be a nightmare trying to get 10 degrees. But with the help of angle snap toggle A on your keyboard, you are going to be able to get it. Like, see, let me get 10 now. This is 10. Let me get 15. That's 15. Okay, when you look at this thing, you notice that it is increasing by 5. So the incremental increase of these angles are in 5 degrees. Now, it mustn't be 5 degrees. I can change it to whatever I want in the settings, in the degrees and the snap settings. How do I do that? I come over here and right-click in the angle snap toggle and right-click. And when I do that, you're going to see the angle. You can see 5 degrees. So if I say I want it to be 30 degrees so that anytime I scale this thing, it increases to 30, like it changes to 30 degrees. It rotates by 30 degrees. I'm just going to type in 30 in there and then I'm going to close it. Now, once I touch it once, you are seeing 30 there. If I turn it again, 60. 90, it becomes easy for me to get the angles that I want. If I want it to, let's say I want it to be 19 degrees, what do? I right click there, go inside there and put 19 degrees in there, and then I come out. Once I touch it once, you are seeing 19 degrees. It is that simple to rotate to the angle, the exact angle you want with angle snap toggle, which is why I say it makes your life easy. It's a modeling aid. I don't know of any modeling software, be it Bean2, be it SketchUp, be whatever, that you can model. You can do any modeling job without snaps. So in 3ds Max, it is still the same thing. The snap toggles come in very handy when you're modeling. Now, enough talk. Let's get back to this illustration. Let's talk about the scaling. Okay, so I'm just going to come in here and I'm going to add 0 in there. Okay, mind you, you can still use this to control the angle you want. But when you're modeling, you want to get in there and, lay your hands on things. Okay, I am laying hands on things and I'm showing you how to also lay your hands on things. Let's continue. Let's continue. So yeah, let me just turn on this angle snap toggle. Let's look at the percentage. Now the percentage works with scale. So when you right click here, you're going to see percentage. It is in 10%. Now let's go in here and see the size of this. Okay, this is 400, I think. This is 400. So when I'm scaling this thing, you see it is increasing by 10%, as you can see. 10%. As if I turn this thing off and I scale it, it will be increasing, like it will be sliding so smoothly. It is going to be sliding so smoothly. And you see, in the y-axis, under here in this coordinate stuff that you have underneath, just underneath the keyframe for animation, you're going to see that it is just sliding and moving up anyhow it wants. But the moment I turn on this percent snap toggle, and I do it, you notice it is moving up by 10. You see 20, 30, 140, 150. Okay, if I want, I can make it 50%, and it increases by 50%. And what this means is that it is going to, as this thing is 400 now, if I should do this, it is going to get 50% of 400 and add it to this. Whatever that is. I don't know. I cannot be doing the mathematics now. I'm very bad at mathematics, but whatever that is what it is going to. Okay, maybe I will just add the mathematics somewhere above, whatever that is, it is going to add it to the 400, and that will be the original size of this. Now, mind you, we scale in different ways. I can scale this thing in both X and Y axis, and it is going to add 50% all around, like this. As you can see, 50% all around. I can decide to scale only on the Y axis and then 50% all around. I can decide to do it like this. So what does that tell you? It tells you that this first snap toggle, the 3D, the 2.5D, and the 2D snap toggle works when you are moving things. Okay? When you want to rotate something, the snap toggle that you use to rotate something conveniently is the angle snap toggle. When you want to scale, you use the percent snap toggle. Now there is remaining one. We have this thing here. We have the spinner snap toggle. For me to be able to explain to you what this spinner snap toggle is, we need to, first of all, understand what a spinner is. Okay? Each time you're working in 3ds Max and you see a box that contains number and has, an up and down arrow by the side, that is a spinner. It enables you to, number one, move things around inside 3ds Max. It also enables you to scale things. It enables you to rotate things. And that is not all it does. It also enables you to adjust the properties of objects. When I say object, I mean geometry, spline, whatever it is you are working with in 3ds Max. And these, properties of this object that I'm talking about might include the object transparency. It can also include the material setups when you're adjusting, the diffuse, the anisotropy, the glossiness, the reflection, the refraction, the everything, the bump. You have this thing in there that you can also use. Even when you're adjusting your cloud, you have spinners to help you. Okay, so this spinner comes in very handy because, normally when you are adjusting, let's say I want to increase this length of this thing, I'll just click this up button. It is increasing it, I think, by 4. I don't know why it should be increasing by 4. I might say, okay, I want it to be increasing by 10. I will now come and turn on this spinner. I don't know what it is set to, but I'm going to show you how to adjust it. I'll now come and turn on this spinner. Let me change this thing back to 400. And mind you, the spinners, you can also input the number you want and hit enter, and it's going to adjust it for you. The spinner is everywhere. You can see the spinner here in this modify tab, where you can use it to modify this box. You can see it here in this coordinate. It is here. You can see it even here. Okay, this is also a spinner. You can see it here. You can see it everywhere. So let's go back to what I was talking about. Now I've turned on this spinner snap toggle, and then I come here. Mind you, before it was snapping at 444 without the spinner. Now when I do increase it now, it is snapping at, I don't even know what it's snapping to. Let's find out. So for me to set up this spinner snap toggle, come there, right click. It is going to take you in here. You're going to see the spinners. Okay, snapping at 1. So I'm just going to come in here and type in 10. Okay, and then say okay. So we're having 10 here, 410. So if I should increase it again, 420, 430, 440, if I should turn it off, it is increasing anyhow it wants. I don't like, it doesn't even have, it is even adding, some decimal stuff here. If I should turn this thing on here, and then let's say for us to understand what is going on, I'm just going to make it a round number, which is 450. Now I will come over here and be increasing it. It is increasing by 10. I can still go back in there and say I want it to increase by 20. Okay, let me just go crazy here. 100. I want it to increase by 100. And I say, okay. Now I will come in here, and then you see it is increasing by 100. So this spinner becomes very, like if I want to move things here, it is 100. If I click it once, it becomes 200. So you are, even as you are scaling, I'm using this thing to scale this box now. Even as I am scaling it in this percentage, it is still applying my spinner to it. So once you adjust the spinner snap toggle, it affects all the spinners you have in this. Let's say I want to adjust the material of this. This is material. I want to adjust. I don't think this is up to 100. Okay, yeah. I think we have 100 here. So once I come in here and click this thing once, it reduces it by 100 once, because I set my spinner to 100. So the spinner affects everything you are doing in 3ds Max universally. So you can set it to 5, you can set it to 20, you can set it to whatever you want. And be rest assured that whenever you want to adjust any spinner in 3ds Max, it increases it by 5, by 10, by 20, depending on what you want to. So I don't know if you have come across this spinner, you have used this spinner snap toggle before. If you have, please let me know in the comment section. But then that is it. This is it for snap toggles in 3ds Max. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please let me know in the comment section. Okay, and also give me a like if you enjoyed this video. Share it with your friends. Subscribe if you haven't done so. Hit the notification bell so you get notified each time I drop videos like this. And full courses. I also drop full courses. You don't have to pay. You only have to pay with your attention. So once you join in the channel, you turn on notification. Each time I post new content, you get notified. All right. Thank you very much for watching this video and sticking to the end. I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.